The ocean is a scary place. Even if you don't feel any fear towards it, you have to admit, the image of a vast, open stretch of murky nothingness is unsettling. A deep blue void which obscures anything below you. It's because of the ocean's vast size and harsh conditions that it has left a majority untouched. I remember hearing the fact that only 5% of our oceans have been explored years ago, and it's baffling to see that according to the NOAA, this is still the case. With 95% of our oceans still unexplored, thinking about what could possibly live down below comes naturally to us. Speculation on what could exist has been part of human history for millennia, which is why I want to highlight my favorite ocean cryptid. Not many people seem to talk about it, and out of all the cryptids I have read about, this one is eerie to me simply because it seems like it could really exist. It is known simply as the black carpet. According to online accounts from divers, the black carpet is a massive, and I mean massive, slow-moving jet black organism with many tendrils that walk it across the ocean floor. Those who have reported seeing it speculate it to be a large colonial organism, like a Portuguese man-of-war. They also report a loud sound, like clicking or a distorted whale call. The first and basically only mention of the black carpet that could be found is a 4chan X thread from 20. The thread starts with a user bringing up the bloop and asking for what other users think it might be, which, for context, the bloop was a low-frequency sound recorded in 1997 by the NOAA. It gained notoriety due to the fact that it seemed to have animal-like patterns and was picked up on two different sensors thousands of miles apart. Though it is now speculated to be an iceberg, one anon comes in with their own answer. Oh, that's the black carpet, allegedly a bit of an urban legend amongst deep-sea divers. I'm that diver anon if anyone was in the last deep-sea thread. I've heard about this thing a couple of times from coworkers and buddies. I don't remember the details of the full story right now, to be honest, but I'll talk to my buddy sometime to see if he remembers and post them on here. The basic gist that I can remember is that this thing is some sort of colonial organism, like a giant moving coral. It's a giant black carpet of macrobiotic cells that crawls across the ocean floor, sifting through nutrients with millions of tiny feelers. Nobody's ever gotten a good estimate of the size of this thing, other than it's big, and apparently it makes a noise similar to the bloop thing. One guy apparently saw it swimming/riding the currents as well, so it does more than just crawl on the ocean floor. I suppose you could call it a one-of-a-kind organism, but I'm not sure if that applies to colonial organisms like this. This user then goes on to post some of these stories. This is the first story I heard of it, from some Finnish bloke with a strong accent. He was doing a deep sea dive repairing some sort of cable. I assume it was probably fiber optic. As he told it, initially he thought he was in the wrong spot because he couldn't find the cable anywhere. He starts searching and eventually finds one end. Just one end. Seared clean through. He gets his dive buddy to stay at that end of the line while he goes looking for the other end, swimming in a straight line in the direction of the other line. In his estimation, he swam for about half a mile before he found the other end of the line. He stressed to me that the entire half-mile middle section of the line was just completely gone. It was a huge deal and everyone thought it was the Russians, but this guy was sure that it was this carpet thing that had done it. Said he heard the noise apparently it makes even though he never saw it. This next story is from my buddy. He heard it from a guy, heard it from another guy, heard it from another guy, so take it with a heavy grain of salt. This guy is doing a dive. Depth, location, what he was doing never got specified, just that he was really deep. He starts hearing this odd noise that gets associated with the card a lot. The way he described it was similar to that video's The Bloop. Ultra low pitch, sort of like a super creepy, distorted whale song. As he gets closer, he hears this almost static cracking noise as well. The way he described it was sort of like a million prawns getting cracked open at once, if that makes any difference. As he gets closer to the bottom, the noises get louder and louder. At this point, he's thinking he's hearing some sort of sonar from a submarine and that some jackass submarine crew is playing a joke on him. When the guy gets to the bottom and shines his light around trying to find whatever he's looking for, and what he was that the sea floor was literally coming to life and was crawling past him. This is probably the best description of the carpet you're ever going to get. According to the guy, carpet is at least a mile long and wide, made mostly of these strange black feelers that apparently make a strange popping noise. Most of the top is covered in various sand, rocks, and debris with feelers poking through. Also a few long transparent stalks, as he described them, that float upwards. Apparently some of these were like 20 feet long. According to the guy, it was singing, which doesn't make any fucking sense to me, but whatever. Guy swam back up to the surface and claimed he had an equipment malfunction. Came back down a couple of hours later and got there just in time to see the last of the thing disappearing. It apparently stretched as far as the eye can see, which isn't far at the bottom of the ocean, but still. Last story for now. I'll see if I can dig up some more later. This is from the old guy I was talking about earlier. Nice guy, marine biologist who has done both deep sea welds and nature research / studies with ROVs. Apparently, the carpet ate one of his ROVs on an expedition. According to him, it happened late one night while the rest of the crew was sleeping. He was pulling an all-nighter studying sea life around volcanic vents. He's moving the ROV from one vent area to the next when he sees what he described as churning sediments on the sea floor. A giant moving cloud of underwater dust essentially moving towards the ROV. He moves it closer to see what he described as a colossal ectoderm crawling across the sea floor with long dexterous filaments probing the sea floor ahead of it. He maneuvers the ROV in for a closer look and uses the arm to prod one of the filaments. In the blink of an eye, he lost contact with the ROV. Apparently, it had happened so fast he didn't even see it happen. 1 second, the thing was about 5 meters away from the vehicle, and the next second, it had swallowed the thing whole. His excuse for not having footage was the footage was all recorded and stored on the ROV rather than being recorded on the operating station, which seems fishy to me. He was, however, very confident in himself, to the extent that he claims that he is the discoverer of this new species. He even gave it a name, which I completely forgot because it was stupid and boring. Giant sea carpet sounds cooler anyway. So, obviously, this is all secondhand accounts from an anonymous diver. However, there are some real-life examples which support the idea of such a creature existing. One of the biggest examples that I mentioned earlier was the fan of war. These creatures are known as siphonophores. A siphonophore is classified as a complex yet delicate colonial organism. That definition is short for a reason, as there are many differences between each of the 175 known species. Some are free-floating, transparent chains that float in the pelagic zone, while others are bright and colorful with means of locomotion. What you're looking at now is one known as Arenia, found by Nautilus Live, and is mentioned in the 4chan thread as being similar to descriptions of the black carpet. Many siphonophores have no color or bright colors, but this one is black, which adds more credit to the carpet's existence. Do you still think there's no chance that the black carpet could exist? What if I told you there's a real, physical example of something like the carpet? We even have pictures of it. Just off the west coast of South America and discovered during a decade-long census of marine life, and by, census of marine life, a large unit of microorganisms was found, and is estimated to be the size of Greece, bigger than what the black carpet is described as. To quote Victor Gallarado, a Chilean scientist on the expedition, it is like a big carpet of white grass with filaments sticking out when waving in the water. What you're seeing now is a photo of it. As I said at the beginning, the ocean is a scary place. We do not know what's down there at all, and while stories of large serpents seem fake nowadays, scientifically speaking, the black carpet could actually exist. Think about the kraken, for example. It was thought to be a myth for decades until we finally caught a giant squid. Sure, no massive ship was taken down by one of them, but it's easy to see why a myth of the kraken became a thing. The same could apply to the black carpet, and what's so fascinating about it to me, I do believe something like it could exist and be out there, a large organism shambling across the ocean's floor, searching for its next meal.